Are you tired of being gaslit by libertards who scream capitalism is evil while sipping their Starbucks typing on their iPhone? Here's TLDR. Why capitalism is not the problem, it's the solution. How libertarianism destroys government inefficiency. How privatization empowers individuals and releases market potential. Common wrongful blames people attribute to capitalism. Special treatments ends up hurting the very people it claims to help. Lastly, some wisdom quotes from Naval Ravikant. Part 1. Capitalism is the core. Capitalism has eliminated poverty 80% since 1970. Capitalism made all the products and services like iPhone, Airbnb, Uber, Starbucks, and all technologies that exist. Almost everything you enjoy using is a product of capitalism. Almost everything you can't stand is a product of the government. Do you love capitalism? Of course you do. You practice it every day. It's time to preach it. If you really want to help the poor, stand up for capitalism. The core of capitalism is to give people what they want. It's to provide value to others. The people love your product or your service so much that they're willing to trade the dollar notes in their hands in exchange for your product or your service. So the core of capitalism is benefiting others, and by benefiting others, you gain these little green notes called the US dollars, aka their service IOUS. The fundamental reason for the rich getting rich is they provided others with valuable things. The way the capitalists get rich is figuring out what the consumers want and giving it to them at a cheaper price, at a better quality. The way capitalists get rich is by enriching everybody else. It's not that the capitalists earn the surplus value of workers or exploited them anyhow. In fact, no one is willing to be taken advantage of and are only willing to work for the employer who gave them the best salary and the most competitive benefits. Capitalism enables extraordinary people to achieve superior results, as opposed to the communist philosophy, which discourages individual accomplishment. The capitalist system, anchored by the principle of competition and free market, which rewards the industrious and penalizes the indolent, has proven far superior to communism. Countless historical examples can prove this, like East and West Germany, North and South Korea. Many smart people can agree with me on this. Javier Milei said, "The only ones who can generate wealth in this country and the world are entrepreneurs, not politicians. Politicians don't know how to create wealth and have no incentive to do so. When they try, all they create is corruption." Peter Schiff said, "People think the government gives them things. Government doesn't have anything. It has to take it first. It has to take it from someone who produced it to give it to somebody who didn't." And me said, "The government doesn't produce anything, it only robs and steals from civilians. The only reason why our society has such an abundance of wealth, why we have advanced so far in civilization, is because of the improvement of our technologies. New tech improves efficiency. What used to take 100 people to farm an acre of land now can be done by one guy in an hour using heavy machine." Entrepreneurship and technology innovation is the true wealth generator. Adam Smith knew this back in 1759. He said that when all economic participants are free to pursue their own self-interest, the economy will end up with more prosperity than otherwise. Let's say if you are pursuing a business and you are not making money, that means you are not creating value for the society. The market is telling you to stop. If you can organize labor, land, and capital to make a profit, the profit tells you that you are benefiting the society. You are making economic use of materials. You are integrating resources and improving efficiency. Steve Jobs is now dead, but how many people have iPhones in their pockets? Steve isn't a humanitarian, he's a businessman. He enriched the lives of millions, and in return, he made billions. Part 2. Libertarianism is the rule. I know it's quite confusing if you are not fluent English. Libertarianism is not to be confused with the modern liberal ideology. Libertarian means minimal government intervention in the private lives of citizens. It goes hand in hand with capitalism and privatization. Libertarianism is freedom in the market. It's simple. The government stays out of your way, and you make your own choices, and you take responsibilities and accountabilities. All industries. Yes, all. Like building roads, emergency services, fire and police departments, education, healthcare, food, pension insurance. Everything is better off when privatized. Whenever you catch yourself complaining how expensive or how slow a service or product is, it's most likely due to too many regulations. Regulations are always bad. This is the typical government maneuver: wreck an industry with subsidies and regulations, blame the ensuing failure on capitalism, then solve the problem with a complete government takeover. Wherever there's regulation, it halts innovation and competition. For example, like the healthcare industry. I remember people constantly complaining about health costs, thus need more regulation on price. No, it's the opposite, you dumb stupid. We need to release permits to open hospitals and drug companies to do experiments and let people take whatever medicine they want. Let the free market run and thus provide true utility. Tech is the accelerator, regulation is the brake. The real tax is society forcing otherwise productive people to pay attention to politics. You need to give people the freedom to choose the best provider for themselves, instead of being forced into it passively like the current circumstance we have. Everything the government touches, it becomes worse. It loses competition and accountability. So I once watched a video exposing how untransparent and expensive our current healthcare system is, and all the comments are normies yelling, "That's why we need to let the government take control and make healthcare free for everyone and stop those greedy private companies devouring our money." No! That's exactly why you need deregulations. You need to stop regulating and immediately allow as many people as possible to come into the market to be doctors and hospitals for you. Yes, some will be unqualified, some will be scammers. But guess what? People are not stupid either. They will soon find out and punish those bad ones. It sure is good to care for every sick person, but stupid you forgot, we don't have unlimited doctors and unlimited hospitals. Surprise, they don't come for free. All resources require a lot of people's effort to appear into existence, from the construction workers that build the building, to the machine manufacturers like X-ray scanners, to the doctors and nurses that provide you their service. You don't just demand those things, like they magically come out of someone's arse. Yes, you say that for the past 2 years, the anti-cancer medicine you relied your life on cost you your entire fortune. You sold your car, your house, dried your savings. But in another word, you would have been dead 2 years ago if it wasn't for those expensive medicines. No? So instead of feeling entitled why it isn't free, be grateful that millions of medical researchers invented it and ship it into your mouth. If the government stops those cumbersome regulations, the best, cheapest, fastest hospitals will naturally stand out from the free market's competition. Like how you shop things from Alibaba and Amazon. The supplier of any goods that gives you the best value for your money will organically distinguish themselves and got ranked higher. Free market capitalism is the best way to raise the standard of living for everybody, whether you're a woman, whether you're black, whether you're homosexual, it all doesn't matter. It's the individual acting freely that's going to be your best bet. If you want to get wealthy, you have to be wealthy as a result of voluntary interactions with other human beings, without government involvement. Government is there to protect my rights, protect my property, protect my life from other people who might infringe upon my rights. But the government is not there to give you a job, give you healthy care. You need to earn those things on your own. The government is to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of liberty. It's here to protect our rights. It's not here to give us free stuff. It's definitely not here to take stuff from other people and give it to us. Obviously, I am aware that there are people born with deformities, or they're not smart enough, or they have a handicap of some kind and they can't defend themselves. First of all, you have to acknowledge we don't owe them anything. It's out of our kindness to help, not a mandatory duty or obligation. Secondly, my solution is if you want to help, you should never steal from some other person via violence and give it to the person who needs it. I believe in voluntary charity. I believe human beings care enough about other human beings that if somebody is really in a dire circumstance, private charity will take care of them. And countless data has proven that private charities are way more efficient and way less corrupt than government-sponsored public charities. Part 3. Why do people hate capitalism? Bro, if capitalism, why do we still have so much inefficiencies, corruptions, wealth inequalities? First of all, We don't have pure capitalism in the USA, never have, and probably never will. What we have is called crony capitalism and nepotism. Like Naval said, the problem isn't capitalism, it's cronyism, when power hijacks markets. During 1998 LTCM's collapse, government used taxpayers' money to fill their deficits. During the 2008 crisis, BlackRock used Federal Reserves to bail out the banks, which they own the majority shares of. During 2020 COVID, government bailed out those corporations that are too big to fail. No! Bullshit! We should have never helped those corporations. These are private companies. I was against TARP policy. I was against bailouts. The government shouldn't back up the bank's loans. It should leave the banks competing to prove themselves safety. Why the hell, when they make a profit, they profit. But when they incurred a loss, it's our loss. Why, when during the years they made tons of money, they spent it all on dividends instead building a healthy cash reserve? Now you have cash flow problems and start to use politicians to give yourselves free loans? Look, if there's a bank that's gonna fail, you let it fail, you'll let the shareholders lose money, you let the bondholders lose money, because if you bail them out, it's a moral hazard, and we're just gonna get more of that bad behavior in the future. Capitalism means private profits and private losses. It doesn't mean private profits and socialized losses. Governments always shade away from their own mistakes and blame it on capitalism and the free market, thus gaining more power for themselves. Part 4. All special treatments backfires. I hate minimum wage requirements. Let's say I'm a beginner. I can only provide $5 per hour worth of value. But the self-righteous government says no one are allowed be paid below $10 an hour. Boom. Guess what? I no longer have a job. Because why would any company do a negative return activity? Now I make $0 instead of $5 an hour. Also, I was robbed of the opportunity to learn and grow on the job. Now I am a bum that can only rely on social welfare. All those people screaming with a sign to raise their minimum wages goes into their employers' ears as "replace me with robots ASAP." Also, those anti-discrimination laws backfires because whenever a colored person is rejected on the interview, he would threaten to sue that employer for discrimination. Those are employers now who would rather go out of the way not to hire minorities. So what do? You stay the fuck out. You allow the employers to be racists and sexists. They are private companies, let they hire whomever they want to hire. Let's say there are two companies. The first would insist on hiring white people even if they are less skillful, whereas the second would hire anyone only based on their skills. Guess what? The better quality and fast time of your products will allow you to be more profitable and thus drive the first company into bankruptcy. Unless those employers aren't stupid. Maybe it is true white guys are more reliable workers and males are more industrious. Again, this racism in working, hiring, college admission should all be left to free market. It is his right to hire whomever the fuck he wants. If you are a businessman and you are making your hiring decision based on the skin color of the people or their gender, and your competitors are making decisions based on competency, you are not gonna survive. You are going to turn down a better quality female worker and settle for somebody who can't do the job well because you want to hire a man. You are not going to be a successful businessman. I have faith in the free market. When you are a racist and you want to be racist in business, that'll cost you a lot of money. The government is trying to substitute laws and regulations. I'd rather market punish racism. The free market competition will punish racist. Their business will fail. They won't succeed as well as people who are broader minded, who are looking beyond sex and race, just hiring based on ability and all those other characteristics that are relevant to the job performance. To the extent that there's going to be a huge disparity, there's going to be certain occupations that are mostly male and certain occupations mostly female. It's not because of discrimination, it's due to meritocracy and their own job preferences. If you look at this nonsense about women are paid like 70 cents for dollar for every man for the same job, which is obviously not true, because if that's true, I would only hire women and pay them 70 cents. If you could actually hire a woman cheaper than a man to get the same job done, then why would I even hire a man? I would only hire women. There is no gender pay gap. There is only an ability and competency gap. Have you heard of NYC lottery apartments? It's some communist unfair shit going on in such a deep blue state like New York. It's basically a special welfare program that allows you to rent apartments for half the price. Since so many people want it, so they need to enroll in a lottery to wait a couple years for it. Hence the name lottery. I recently watched a CNBC video on this program. All the comments are full of people complaining and whining, oh, the gentrification, oh, it's ridiculous that for $2,000 a month I can only get this showbox apartment. No, stop complaining. You are a beneficiary, not a fucking victim like you pretend to be, okay? The lottery winner lady in the video got that smirk on her face. I'm sure she has no ill intentions besides feeling lucky, but you know who pays for her rent? You and me. Millions of other New Yorkers paid for it for her, not to mention the countless useless staff it requires to carry out this whole procedure. First of all, no one is forcing you to stay here, nor do you deserve or be entitled to be here in a big city. For $1,000, you can buy more than an entire acre of land in the middle of America, but you don't want to live there. Oh, why's that? Because you enjoy all the benefits, the convenient services, and favorable amenities that come with the big cities. But guess what? You're not the only one who wants it. Millions of others want it too. All stupid dumb people in the comments are all saying, oh, $2,000 for such a small apartment is evil? Kill the rich. I'm like, what? If you force the landlord to charge only $1,000 for a $2,000 market value apartment, hundreds of thousands of people would want it just like you do. You are not the main character in this Earth online game, so if people are not allowed to bid up the prices, in the end, it's either under-the-table shady deals handing over extra cash, which increases communication cost and disappoints the real people who need it the most, or those apartments only go to the people with government connections or the direct family of the head of the housing department. It inevitably ends in corruption regarding wealth inequality. I would agree it is an inevitable downside of capitalism, especially the winner-takes-all traits. But my question is, would you rather everyone be equally poor or everyone has great quality of life quality? Modern liberals want equal results, whereas modern conservatives want equal opportunities. That's the core difference. Like Charlie Kirk said, if you complain more than you produce, you're typically on the left, and if you produce more than you complain, you're typically on the right. But you can't just evaluate things based on equalness. You are not entitled to the same results as those hard-working people and those who dedicated their entire lives to serving others. You should appreciate your living standards being dramatically upgraded thanks to those people. Of course, those who cheated, scammed, and corrupted their ways into wealth should be condemned. Why is the huge disparity in wealth an inevitable byproduct of capitalism, you ask me? Because division of labor produces efficiency and cooperation produces prosperity. This quote is a conclusion in economics and is a key to understanding many phenomena in modern society. Adam Smith said in The Wealth of Nations in 1776, division of labor leads to efficiency, and efficiency produces wealth. What hinders the continuous division of labor is the market and regional restrictions, so capitalism must have trade freedom. Open the doors of other countries at all costs, because trade freedom can continuously expand market restrictions and lead to further refinement of division of labor. There are specialties and expertise in every profession. The knowledge in each niche is too profound for any individual to do them all. If you compare life to a video game, you only have a certain number of talent points, and it is impossible to fill every talent tree to the tax. Us humans are social animals, and we know how to cooperate. From the ancient times when you went hunting and I went to pick fruits, to the modern day's niche division of labor in all walks of life. In ancient times, we were just a small group of dozens of people. With the evolution of history, there appear villages, provinces, countries, continents. Our group continued to grow to become the global market we have today, and the division of labor will only become more and more niche. Some countries produce oil, some produce firewood, some produce electronic products, and everyone takes what they need. The head effect will become more and more obvious in the future, Because the best product manufacturer or service provider in the world will get to do it for the entire world. If you are the best, the phone manufacturer, you get to make phones for every person in the world. If you're the best teacher in the world, you get to teach everyone via the internet. If you are the best sock manufacturer, you get to ship your stocks to everyone in the world. An inevitable direct result of this is a small number of top entities will take a disproportionate share of the entire market. The free market economy doesn't care what God you believe in. Capital is eternal, cold, and the most efficient. The war in the capital market will never stop because money never sleeps. On the bright side, each person's living standard has improved so drastically that even the wealthiest billionaires still use the same iPhone and play the same computer games as you do. Sure, they can buy villas, but all of you have a place to stay, although his supercar is 100 times more expensive than yours. But at the end of the day, you both get from A to point B. You both have means of transportation. The wealth today is more about the status game than real purchasing power. I assure you, all those billionaires have nowhere to spend their money. Part 5. Naval's best quotes on capitalism. Capitalism works because it makes you fire your best friend. Capitalism rewards those who provide value to others. Free markets are the best mechanism we have for rewarding competence and punishing inefficiency. The beauty of capitalism is you can opt out. The horror of socialism is you can't. Capitalism is nature's way of sorting resources, brutal but effective. Capitalism turns greed into progress. Markets don't care about your feelings, and that's why they work. Under capitalism, you get paid to solve problems. Under socialism, you get paid to create them. Capitalism's engine is competition. Kill that, and you kill growth. People hate capitalism because it exposes their limits. Yes, he said that all. What an intelligent dude. Socialism centralizes power. Capitalism decentralizes it. Capitalism isn't perfect, but it's the least bad option. Innovation thrives under capitalism because it's the only system that tolerates risk. Capitalism thrives on voluntary exchange. Force kills it. In capitalism, value creation is the only currency that lasts. Free markets punish waste faster than any bureaucracy. Capitalism is survival of the useful. Markets are truth machines, ruthless and blind. Capitalism lets you vote with your wallet. The alternative to capitalism is theft dressed as justice. Free markets don't promise fairness, they promise freedom. Capitalism's chaos is its strength. In capitalism, you're paid for results, not intentions. Markets turn selfish acts into social good. Markets don't bend to ideology, people do. Capitalism's fuel is human desire. Socialism dreams of utopia. Capitalism builds from dirt. Free markets are the ultimate meritocracy, cold but fair. Capitalism doesn't care who wins, only that someone does.